right, good morning. Welcome back. Welcome back. To all the familiar faces. Morning. Morning, V. Morning, Chris. I missed the plant. Hold on. There you go. The plant. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why I had a shit trading day yesterday. I need the plant. Shit. There you go. Now that's customer service. Right there. Now that is customer service. Yeah. This thing's sick. The first, whenever I have my next biggest trading day ever, we'll take a shot of that Tesla tequila on the live stream. How about that? So we need to have like a $30,000 day. I don't know when that's coming, man, but maybe one day. Welcome back, guys. How's everyone doing? Hope you're having a good morning. I can't really bring the camera to the garage, but figure it out somehow one day. All right. Well, welcome back, guys. Thank you for being here. I hope you guys are having a good morning. Hopefully, you are feeling good today. I'm feeling good. Yeah, the tequila. It's probably not good, Rome. I agree. It's just a little decoration piece, really. Hope you guys are feeling good today. Looks like should be some opportunity, some interesting levels out there. That S&P 500 4800 level looks to be the level to watch today. That looks to be really the key. So we'll see what happens. Yesterday we talked about that 20 SMA on the SPY. That worked out really nice. Really nice demand hold at that 20 SMA and another upside move yesterday. If you watched my video yesterday, you'll sort of understand my trading day yesterday. One of those days, man. One of those days, but I'm excited, right? And I talked about this with the group. You're in pain for one day, right? It's a one day painful day, but you wake up the next day, you're ready to go. So let's make it a good day. Let's find some opportunities out there. I'm excited, man. I'm ready to go. I woke up early today. I'm locked in, and so I'm excited to get things going here. So press that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let's start with that economic calendar. That's really the key for today right now. We're starting to get into some interesting stuff, and it's definitely going to start to get heavy next week or tomorrow. Tomorrow, we have CPI and unemployment claims. So tomorrow, and the 30-year bond. That's all tomorrow. But today, we have the 10-year bond auction. That's probably your biggest event of the day. That's going to be around 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. Eastern. You're going to have that 10-year bond. That will likely cause a little bit of volatility today, so make sure to keep an eye out on that. And then tomorrow, CPI, unemployment, 30-year bond, and then on Friday, PPI. So we're starting to get into some of the more important stuff of the week. CPI tomorrow, that's probably the biggest event of the day. So just make sure you're aware of that, guys. If you are going to be swing trading today, make sure you're aware of that CPI tomorrow morning. That's the big one, all right? So that's that. That's really all that I have for you on that side. Let's get right into the futures. Let's start with the NASDAQ. Yeah, I appreciate that, Margin. Margin, I saw your comment about usernames. I have no idea, man. I have no clue. So here we go. NASDAQ. So yesterday, we had that nice hold, right, and push to the upside. Michael, thank you, man. Michael, I appreciate that. Me and Michael have had some painful days trading AMD together. Michael is my AMD pain. He's the one that we're in pain together. I appreciate that, Michael. Thank you, man. So NASDAQ yesterday, the key yesterday late day was right here, right? This is really the very important thing is this hold right here, right? This 16,800 hold yesterday intraday was the key, right? So you had that push higher, right? You had that sort of grind higher yesterday morning. But the key that happened was the maintain late day over the Monday highs, right? So that's really important. You can see right here, Monday highs turned into support all day yesterday. So today, right, I need to build my plan and I need to stick to it. And my plan today is that if the NASDAQ maintains above this level, there is no reason to look for short side plays, right? And I need to stick to that plan today, because if the NASDAQ maintains above those lows, maintains above Monday's highs, and if the NASDAQ continues to maintain this area here and this 20 SMA, right, then there is really no reason to try to short into that level, because that level could become, right, another demand hold. So that's very key today, right? We have to have that in our mind. We have to be careful of being on the short side if the NASDAQ continues to hold this yesterday low right here, right, and that Monday high. That's the key, right? That's the key. So that is what I will be watching very closely today, looking to see if the NASDAQ shows strength off this level, and looking to see if that demand steps up once again today, okay? If you break under that level, right, that's where things could get a little bit interesting, right? Because if you break back under Monday's highs, if you break back under that Tuesday low, and you break under this little pre-market low, then yeah, maybe there is some weakness that comes in under that level, and there might be some opportunity to trade short in sort of this, nothing that, no really strong structure here. There might be some slippery action to the downside, but that is not, right? That is not until that actually proves to happen, because right now that is definitely holding, and that demand is definitely there, and we don't want to front run that idea, right? And try to short, let's say try to short right here, and then this thing just pops to the upside again, right? So that is very key today, right? That is something that I need to keep in my mind, and need to understand that is maintaining for now, okay? That's number one. Number two, the supply above is definitely a pretty major level. That is a major level above. So you can see right here on the NASDAQ, you have these previous highs, previous lows, previous rejection point right in this area here. And that is the level that is sort of rejecting this morning around that 16,900. So that is definitely a pretty tough level above, 16.9, right? 16.9. And so that is where the NASDAQ is sort of getting stuck at today. So 16.9, right, as much as this is a nice demand hold potential, we also need to be careful of being too aggressive into that 16.9. So right now, to be honest, guys, you are sitting in a 100-point channel on the NASDAQ, right? That is really what you're seeing. You're in about a 100-point channel on the NASDAQ between 16.9 supply. Whoa, what was that? Oh, that's sick. I didn't know I could do that. Control T. Nice. Wow, I like that. Control T, guys. Changes time frames. Damn. Learn something new every day. So right now, right, pretty clear 100-point channel on the NQ, and the profitable trades will likely come out of the breaks and holds of either side, right? That's probably where the best trades come in, is the break and hold of either side. If we just stay within this 100-point channel, things could get a little bit tough. So That's my watch today. 16.8, down to around. I'm gonna bring this down to 16.8, exactly 16.8, because 16.8 really is that low, right? You can see right there, 16.8, 16.8, and then 16.9 up top. All right, 16.9, 16.8, and you got your 100-point channel. As long as the NASDAQ holds that 16.8, you are continuing this little higher low, higher high type structure, and that remains bullish for in the short term. Okay, very key. QQQ, same exact type of analysis here, right? We have that NASDAQ, that QQQ demand at 405, right? That was that Monday high, which turned into those lows intraday yesterday. So as long as the QQQ is above 405 and that 20 SMA, right, we do not want to be too aggressive short into that level. That is very key. That is something we need to stick by today. If the QQQ is maintaining over 405, that demand is still below and could still push us higher. So that could be, one, a potential long spot, and two, that could be that area that is really influential for a potential downside as well, if, and that's an if, we break under it, right? If we break under 405 and we turn it into rejections, that would be a rejection at Monday's highs. That would be a rejection of those previous lows, and that could create that downside move. But that is not happening yet. So again, we can't front run that idea. 405 is the level to hold for now. The upside supply levels around 408. I'll show you guys that level right here on the hourly chart. 408, 408, 408, 408, 408. So there's a lot of stuff there, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 touches of that level in the last few weeks, right? And look at the level today, right? Look at the level today. So 408 looks to be that supply level that the QQQ will need to get over for upside continuation, right? That has been a major level in the past, and you can see the little rejection that's coming in today. Okay, so 408's big above. Make sure you know that. 408, big supply above. Other one to be watching, which we just broke below, is yesterday's highs, right? We just broke back below yesterday's highs. That's important as well. That's 406.50. Okay, so 406.50, 408 are your two upside supply levels, and then that demand below is at that 405. All right, those are my QQQ levels today. S&P 500 futures. This is what the title's about. This is a major, major level here. Here's the ES 4800, ES 4800, ES 4800, ES. So 4800 on the ES is that must break level, right? That is the must break level for upside continuation. If we get a hold over 4800 today, then we are moving higher, right? If we get a hold over 4800 today, we are moving higher into that 4830, right? That would be the structured break and hold that would create that upside move. So that is what you're looking for today. If you're looking for upside, I would want that break and hold above 4800, turn this back into support, back into support, back into support, and that should create that upside opportunity. So that is definitely a watch. It's around 4803, 4803, 4804. Okay? Watch that. Now, you do see the triple top, right? And so, logically, you would say, okay, this could be, that little rejection point. That is something to be cautious of today. Does the 4800 act as too heavy of a level, and does this see a little bit of downside? That is something I would be watching as well. Be aware of that 4800 level creating some type of a lower high on the larger time frames and sort of creating that next downside move. So 4800, I think, is very important today. That looks to be the major, major level to watch, right? You can see right here and all right here. So 4800 on the ES futures, guys. Make sure that level is marked out on your charts. I mean, it's really up to around like 4804. That's sort of where that high came in, 4804. So have that marked out on your charts. Now, it's a little bit difficult to the downside here because you can see these general demands that held, pretty much on the intraday over the last few days, right? We can see right here, we have these previous highs here, which have turned into a really nice support. So as of now, right, that ES is still sort of holding this this short-term demand around this 4780, 47.86, right, and that 20 SMA. So to really get that downside, right, and this is why I think it's probably not worth shorting 4,800, right, because if you enter short up here, you're going to probably have to withstand a lot of this sort of bounce. And so I don't know, right, it's been very resilient. This is some of the problems I've had this week, right, because I try to short at these supplies, but they really don't continue, right? There's little drops, but really no type of continuation. That market it's resilient and it's strong right now. So do you look for that 4,800 short today? I would stay away from it. I'm going to personally stay away from it. That's what's caused me to take some losing trades this week, right, trying to short this 4,800 level, and it just has not worked. So I'm going to just trust in that, right? I'm going to be cautious on that idea because it sort of burned me a few times. And while it does look like a good supply level, right, it's not giving back any move, right? It's giving you a little bit, a little bit extra on that Tuesday after hours, but it's not really giving you much. And overall, right, this is really the level that will need to drop for any type of real continuation on the ES to the downside, right? Because you still are trading above this previous low, this high, this high, this high right here, and yesterday's low, right? You're still trading above that level. So even if the ES, which this might even be the best long opportunity today, if the ES does drop into that 47.70, this might just be one of the better long opportunities, longing it back at that demand level, right? So it's definitely a channel, right? We can see this channel. We can see that the ES has been creating those sort of higher lows. Yep. You have that flat top at that 4,800. You're either going to see a strong break and hold above this today, and that's going to be your really bullish move right above that 4,800, or I think you're going to see some type of a rejection here. But a rejection here does not make me think the market's going to really fall, right? A rejection here is still potentially just a buying opportunity at demand levels below. It's not until, in my opinion, you actually break here that the shorts really start to take control, right? I think you need to break back under yesterday's lows before any kind of shorts really take control here under that 47.70, right? Under 47.70, under yesterday's lows, sure, things might get a little bit more interesting to the downside. But until then, these pullbacks off 4,800, right, could still just be long opportunities at demands that were previously there, okay? So be aware of that. 4,800, 47.85, and 47.70 are the levels I'm watching to the downside. SPY, same thing, right? Same thing. You can see it right here. You can see the supply. That's 475. 475. Right there. Okay? That's your big level above. 1, 2, 3. And you have some previous lows here. If I go back, you'll see them. I'm not going to spend the time to do that. But if you go out to the hourly, you'll see those reactions at that 475. So that's the level. Okay? If you get a hold above that level, upside. Right? If you see a hold above 475 today, upside, right? That's going to come in. Now, the demand below for now is this little 473.25. It seems to be, I would call it 473, right? That looks to probably be the right level, around 473. You got some previous rejections here. You got some holds there yesterday. I would say it's 473, right? So you're in about a 2-point range right now. You're in between 475 supply and 473 demand. And the ES, or the SPY, will trade in here, right? And the opportunities will arise, most likely, if we can get a break and hold above one of these sides. So 475, 473, be aware of those. I would come into the day, this is how I would come into the day to protect yourself. As long as the SPY is above 473, no short entries. As long as that ES is above this 47.85, this 20 SMA, no short entries, right? As long as that NASDAQ is above that Monday high, 16.8, no short entries, right? And as long as the QQQ is above that 405, no short entries. That's how I would protect myself because the market has been trending. We've seen that move. We've seen that grind. And We do not want to fight that for now. So for me, I'm coming into the day with the game plan of if the NASDAQ's over 16.8, you're not taking short entries. That's how I'm going to come into the day. If we get under that 16.8, right, then I would get interested because we are failing back below Monday's highs. Then I would get interested. All right? So that's that. IWM. Interesting here on IWM. You guys can see this is the hourly chart on IWM. We had those rejections come in at that 20 SMA, right? Hold on, let me adjust this chart. We had those rejections come in at that 20 SMA and that 197 level. And now in the short term, it looks like to me that you are turning this level, right? These previous lows from Wednesday of last week, the highs from Thursday, the highs from Friday, and yesterday's highs are all turning into a supply rejection here around this 195.50. So I am right now short on IWM because of this, right? Again, I could be wrong here, right? Because I have continued to look for this sort of breakdown on IWM. I've been able to scalp profitable out of IWM. And, I've taken profits on the drops and taken positions on the pops. So I have been able to be profitable on IWM with this short idea. But I still can see that I'm not getting my full downside idea move, right? I still see that. So today I am going to be watching that 195.50 level. If we break above that, we'll move back into that 197. If the market is weak today and IWM rejects this 195.50, I could definitely see, a little bit of flag type downside setting up here on this sort of quadruple top that's set up. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And this pre-market 5, all at the same level. Now, there hasn't been downside continuation, right? And so this is not working for me right now. In a market that's been weak, right, a weak market, this is a setup that works a lot, right? A clear supply rejection, multiple rejections at a certain level, and then eventually, if the stock or the index is unable to break that level, you'll get that slip. As of now, right, it's been very resilient on the market. That's just the characteristic of the market, and I have to accept that. That's why I haven't been able to get this downside move that I'm really looking for. I could be a little bit stubborn here, right, by trying to continue to get it. And, if that's the case, I take my loss, right? But trading, in my eyes, right, and for me, which is, it's different for some people, but I take trades, right? I take shots. I'm a shooter because I position myself for any situation, right? If I'm wrong, if I'm right, I position myself correctly. So I'm never going to stop taking my shots if I trust my analysis. So there's going to be times where I'm wrong. There's going to be times where my analysis is invalidated. But that's trading, right? That is the root of trading. And, you're going to take shots. You're going to take setups that you like. I don't take outside information. I don't care what other people say. I don't take criticism. It's in your head, right? It's you against you guys. And so I'm going to continue to take the shots that I like. I'm definitely interested in this, right? All my analysis would tell me that this could be a very nice potential rejection play, and so I'm taking that shot. So that's what I'm in there. We'll see what happens, right? I'm going to give it up to this 197 level, but like I say in the chat, shooters got to shoot, man, and so you can't be scared to take those shots. If you trust your analysis, if you trust your trades, that's how I look at trading, right? So we'll see. 195.50. I'm going to see if that level turns into a rejection. If it does not, right, then I will get probably stopped out near that 197 level today. All right? That's that. All right, let's get into some stocks. Tesla, man, this was a missed one yesterday. This was a miss because this was very nice. We talked about that 238 level on Tesla yesterday. And it set up some sexy wick rejections at that 238. So you guys can see right here, right? Look at all these morning wicks at that 238 supply. We had some very clear upside, right, wicks showing that there were sellers just stacking up at this area. And this was, all right, get Dragon out of the chat. Margin, do your thing, my friend. So just really nice, right? You can see all those wick highs, right? You can see all those wick highs sort of setting up there at that 238. And I just wasn't watching it, right? I just wasn't watching it, and I missed it. But if you guys caught it, well done. This was straight from our analysis, that 238 level, creating really nice downside to start the morning yesterday. Now, where are we at now? All right, where are we at now? You guys can see right here. You guys can see. Let me just. All right, there we go. Thank you. So where are we at now, right? We have that 232 demand, right? That 232 demand down at that low. That's where Tesla is now trading, right? That is where Tesla is now trading. And this was sort of that level we were talking about. Is Tesla going to trade back down to that 232 demand? And that is exactly what we got yesterday. So this is going to be interesting today. What does Tesla do at this 232? Does Tesla put up a battle here, right? Does Tesla put up a battle at this 232 demand and this 200 SMA? This is pretty big time for Tesla because if Tesla breaks this level, right? If Tesla breaks this 232 level, breaks this sort of consolidation low, breaks this 200 SMA, it could get a little bit interesting here. It could get a little bit interesting here, right? Because we've seen some pretty extreme weakness on Tesla, guys. The market has been going up, and Tesla has been going down. So it's either there's either two scenarios here, right? Tesla catches up to the market and has a huge squeeze off this demand, or Tesla continues to underperform. And if there's any signs of weakness on the market, right? Let's say the market weakens from where it is now, Tesla probably underperforms the market. So we'll see, right? Tesla's getting interesting because this is either a very strong demand that results in a really nice squeeze to the upside, right? Something like we've seen in the past. Or, right, this starts to really underperform and break under major demand at 232. So I think it's worth watching here near this major 230, 232 level below. We definitely have some important levels below. I'm probably just going to watch like 230 to 232 and then just keep an eye on that 200 SMA today, right? I couldn't tell you exactly why, Brandon, right? I don't know the exact reasons, but there's definitely some underperformance. But yesterday, right, we got that big drop. I would just monitor this 200 SMA, guys. That's really the key, all right? Because that is exactly... I thought I had to sneeze, but I guess not. That is exactly where Apple, right? Apple found that demand off that 200, right? And so Tesla is back at that 200. So things could get interesting here. Now, if you are on the side of thinking, right, Tesla's going to sort of hold this 200 and there's going to be some type of an upside squeeze, right? I would at the very least, first of all, want it over 238, right? That's number one. It needs to be over 238. And really, number two, it needs to get back over this 244 area and at least this 100 SMA. So there's a lot of levels that need to sort of break before I think Tesla can really get going. Number one would obviously be 238. Right? We saw those rejections at 238 yesterday. If you can get Tesla over it, which I'm actually going to set an alert here. I'm going to set an alert at that 238 just so I'm aware of it intraday. If you can get over that, then maybe there's a reclaim and a continuation. But until then, right, that's weak, and that 232 demand is going to need to hold. That is going to need to hold. All right, Nvidia, the absolute monster on the stock market right now. Just an absolute, it's a monster. So yesterday, we talked about that 520 area, the 522, and then this previous low around 515. So we talked about those potential demand pullback levels. And yesterday, what Nvidia did, right, which we can go down to the 5-minute chart. We can zoom in a little bit here. What Nvidia did was it moved lower, right, came back down towards those demands, reclaimed. This was the key move. The reclaim of the 522, 520 level, right? You can see intraday, if I zoom in here, Nvidia reclaimed this little pre-market area, that pre-market low, and after reclaiming that demand low, right, that's where this thing just started to rocket. And if you missed that entry, right, the next thing that happened, which was very clean, the plant just moved by itself. The next thing that happened intraday yesterday, which was very clean for a long entry, was right here. The pre-market highs, right? You see right here, right? Pre-market highs. We were in the chat talking about this one. The pre-market highs right here turned into a low intraday. We had a little break and hold above that level, and that was another really nice potential long entry right there. All right, so Nvidia, very clean yesterday again, right? These are pretty clean technical moves, but, you know, they just are rips to the upside. So what are we watching today? What are we watching today? If we get a pullback, number one, 530. Okay, that's number one. Yesterday's close, 530. Number two, yesterday's pre-market high, 528, right? That's number two. That's that level we just talked about. Pre-market high that held yesterday, that's number two. 1, 2, right? Those are my two. That's 1, that's 2. Those are my two potential pullback longs right there, right here, right here. So that's number 1 and number 2, okay? Did we get some economic data? We don't have any economic data, right? No, it's 10:30 today, I believe. Come on, Forex Factory. There we go. No, nothing. 8. Okay. 10 o'clock is first data. So 530, right? 528. Those are my two pullback levels. 538. Yeah, I mean, if you get a hold above it, maybe. The other level you could watch, in my opinion, is this gap fill. Right here. This would be the other pullback level that I would monitor. Right here at that gap fill. So you have that little morning gap up right here, right? See that little morning gap up? If Nvidia comes back, fills that gap, right? You have a pretty nice hold there yesterday. This could be your next level. Right here. Gap fill and a pullback towards that 533. So I have, let's call it 3 levels. Nice. Keep doing that. 1, 2, 3. Those are my, that's not a 3. That's like a extra 3. 1, 2, 3. It's sort of hard to make numbers here. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at. All right. There, and there. This is my favorite one right here. 528. That's my favorite one. That's where I'd be really interested in that, you know, sort of bounce back off that level. All right. That's what I'm watching on Nvidia. It's in price discovery mode, right? It's at all-time high. So you just got to watch the intraday action. Yesterday, the reclaim of that pre-market low was the key. So let's see. All right. Let's see what happens here. 533, 530, 528. Those are my 3 levels I'm watching. All right, let's go AMD. So AMD, big pop to the upside yesterday as well, sort of following that Nvidia strength. Here's where you're trading at today. So on AMD, you were trading right at the previous highs, right? 151. So this is going to be your level to watch. 151. That's very clearly the previous 4-hour high before that downside came in, right? And you're right back at it. So 151. Right? You need to break over that for upside continuation. If you want to look for upside today, I would want AMD on a break and hold over 151. Right? That would be the strong upside move. Break and hold over 151. Now, if you don't get that, here's some pullback levels you could watch today because there were some yesterday. Right? Number one, I would watch 150. Right? Yeah, like these previous highs around like this 149.70. I would look to see if that holds today. Right around those previous highs right here. Number one would be these previous highs right here. See if that maintains. If you break under that, you have this right here, right? This 148.25. You have the previous high, previous low intraday. So I'd watch that. And then the big level, which held yesterday really nicely, right? Look at this. See that? That is a break and retest of 147 yesterday. That was very nice. And after seeing that, right, that was the reason why I, said, trade's over. When I was short AMD yesterday, I saw how that sort of happened, and I was like, that's it, right? This is incorrect. So 147, right? You see that break and hold above 147 area. That's very key. If you get pullbacks, those are my pullback levels to watch off that 151 supply. We'll go to Google real quick because Google did something really nice yesterday, and it was that 141 level, right? We talked about this 141 level. You see right here that double top at 141, some of these previous lows at 141, and then look at the short term on Google yesterday. Look at that little hold around that 141, sort of midday. You had a really nice couple wick holds at 141, and that was the key to that Google upside. All right, so Google held that 141, continued higher, and now, if you look at the hourly chart, you are trading into some supplies above. So be careful of that. That 143.25, you have a triple top here at that level, right? And that's the level that's rejecting this morning. So for me, right, I want a pullback. I don't want to be long into that supply. I don't want to be long into this 144 high. I want some pullbacks to create new longs, right? I want pullbacks to create new longs. So that's pretty right. This is how this market moves, right? Pullbacks to create new longs. And so I don't want a long here. I don't want a long here. I want a long probably back at that 141 level, right? That's really the key long for me on Google here. I want to see Google come back to that 141, right? Prove the hold again. And if it does, right, then I would look for that long entry. The other spot you could watch that may hold on, right? Maybe you don't get that 141 pullback is around this little 142 area, right? You can see a little bit of demand stepping in there yesterday around 142. If Google's real strong, it'll probably try to hold here. But I would ideally look for that 141 level, okay? All right. All right, 1,800 people, 700 likes. You know what that means. If you guys could, press that like button. Hey, I think you guys just like watching ads, man. There is, right, because if you think about it, there's 1,800 people every day here. The same amount, I think it's probably this, I would say 90% of the people here are here every single day, right? And they know what happens. They know what happens. So they just like to see it. Hey, I appreciate it, right? At least I get to run an ad and get a little bit of monetization for my morning work here on YouTube. So I appreciate it. All right. Let's continue. Let's go to Boeing real quick because I am short Boeing too. But I don't know, right? It's just not really giving me anything, so I'm not that confident in it. But Boeing, in my eyes, has continued to make lower highs and lower lows, in my opinion, for now. All right, so here was that high on Boeing from Monday, and here is that high from yesterday on Boeing. And it looks, right, it has shown me nothing but weakness here. So I continue to hold this short until I get something of, a reason to exit. But for now, right, you can see it's holding this 225. So Boeing's definitely going to need to break below that 225 for that downside continuation. If Boeing continues to hold this 225, then you'll probably see some type of a bounce today off that level, right? You'll probably move up and back and towards that 230. If it really gets going back into that 234. But, for now, I don't see any signs, right? Nothing here shows me, hey, this stock is strong. So I continue to just sort of sit in a small Boeing position, see if this thing wants to continue to slide. But you're definitely going to need that 225 break. That's without a doubt. You're going to need that 225 break. If you don't get that, it's not going to move lower. It might just sit in this channel until end of week. So 225, 230, that's the channel. You can see yesterday it rejected that 50 SMA right there, which was very key as well. Pretty much all afternoon, it was rejecting the 50 SMA right here. You can see this if I zoom in on the 5-minute. So every attempt higher over that 50 just sort of got nailed. So that kept me in the trade, right? I wasn't going to exit Boeing puts if every push to the 50 SMA was just getting heavily sold into, right? What's the point of selling my downside trade if I continue to see that reaction? So I'm going to hold it, right? I'm going to see if this thing wants to continue to make these lower highs. Yesterday was clearly a lower high, and I'm going to see what happens today. But you need that 225 break for any kind of downside. All right. Let's go quickly into Apple because there is something that's pretty key here on Apple, and by no means, right, at least in my eyes, guys, I don't think this Apple bounce is very strong at the moment. It is holding that 200, which is good, right? That's very key. It needed to hold that, and I'm not surprised at all to see a little bit of a resiliency, a little bit of relief off that 200. That's not to be surprised at all. But Apple really has not gone anywhere on this bounce yet. Yeah, sure, a little bit of relief, but you can see here, right, this 186 level rejecting pretty heavy, and you're still under this 188. And so 188 is really, in my eyes, this is the level that needs to break. We need to get back above that 188, right? So Apple is going to be interesting to watch. It's going to be interesting to watch. As of right now, you can see we did get that relief bounce off the 200. You did hold above this 183 area, the 100 SMA yesterday, which was good as well. All right, you can see right here, 183. That's pretty strong yesterday and a good hold with the market. Today, you're going to need this move to continue here quickly for Apple to start to gain momentum. I think you need to get over 186 today if you want to see that move up towards that 188. So I would say watch Apple. If it gets over 186, then maybe it can start to move higher, right, over this previous high, right? Get that move above that previous high. But if Apple continues to get stuck under this 186, I would assume it starts to try to come back down to that 183, right? And maybe even back to that 200. So the key for Apple here, guys, if you are looking for that relief bounce, you got to get over 186. You have to get over that, and you will get into that 188, all right? 186, 188, 183. Shopify? Yeah. I mean, I love Shop, man. I'm the one-eyed Shop bull. You guys know that. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. It is really going higher, huh? Nice. Hey, it's good for my long term. Oh, wow. Yeah, I haven't really watched Shop lately. Wow, 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 wow. That is pretty. That's real pretty. Look at that. Previous highs into double bottom lows. Oof. That's sexy. That's sexy. Vamos Shop. I'm in Shop. I'm in like 400 shares of Shop at 30 in my SEP IRA. You guys know that. I was screaming and hollering Shop all last year, man. If you guys were part of the streams last year, you know I was screaming and hollering Shop every live stream. Shop, 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 Shop. So yeah, I'm more than pleased to see what Shop has been doing. Very happy about that. Shout out Jackie if she's here. All right. Probably one of the more interesting charts, right? One of the more interesting charts is Microsoft. That is probably, I would say, the strongest looking chart for the very, very potential breakout is Microsoft. And we have been sort of talking about this 366 demand for a few weeks now, right? Because it's just been sitting here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, right? 7 weeks of sitting above this 366 previous all-time high. And it is still holding there. So eventually, guys, I would not be shocked, right, to see eventually Microsoft attempt this push. Now, that's if the market stays strong, right? That's if the market stays strong. And if it does, I would assume Microsoft does something here. This is a very clean hold on the weekly chart, right? This is the weekly chart above previous highs. 4-hour chart today, you can see right here. To really get that entry in the short term, guys, right? To get that entry in the short term, I would still want Microsoft to break 380, right? I still want that, right? Because your average, nice job, Piff. Awesome. Nvidia at 125. Yeah, the Nvidia shares are just sick. Every attempt, right? All these pushes higher where in the past I was like, okay, Microsoft might get going here, right? This is sort of that human psychology, right? Oh, Microsoft might get going here. Bam. Oh, Microsoft might get going. Bam. Oh, bam. Oh, bam. Oh, bam, 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 right? So, this might be the same thing again. Oh, Microsoft might get going here, and then bam, back to demand lows, right? So I don't want to be too aggressive here. I could definitely see it on the weekly chart. There's no doubt about that, right? There is absolutely no doubt that this is setting up on the weekly chart. But the timing of when it actually decides to take off is going to be the hard part. Obviously, to avoid this, you just buy shares and you invest long-term in Microsoft, which obviously I am. But if you want to take options on it, you either have to take a long-dated option and just sort of sit in this, or you have to, in my opinion, look for that 380 trigger. I think that could trigger the move, right? I think the 380 could trigger the move if you can get a move over 380. Then maybe you could get that trigger to start going, right? And maybe that's where Microsoft starts to rip if it gets over. So just a little bit of patience on her, right? It's definitely there. I definitely see it with you guys. But you need something to trigger that move, right? You need something to trigger that move. I think it's probably 380, right? I think it's probably 380. At least that's what I would be watching. What else do I want to look at? I think Meta is probably a decent one to watch because Meta's been pretty juicy. It's sort of stuck at that high. It sort of rejected that 360 high yesterday. Yeah, like this 361 level looks pretty heavy. So I'd probably want to see a really clean hold over that. This sort of 361 area, right? You can see it's pretty juicy above there, or pretty strong up there. 361. So if you want to look for meta longs, right, I would want that hold above. Not like that. That's pretty ugly. Something like that, right? I'd want to see that hold above. Or I'd want this long here, right? This could be the proper long to look for, right? Back at that 355. So maybe Meta wants to do something like this, right? Starts to consolidate, eventually getting that push, but you'd want to be long here, right? Back at those demand lows. So for me, I would rather see Meta pull back and then see if it wants to hold this area around 355. Netflix. Yeah, Netflix. I'm short Netflix. I'm in like a little two contract Netflix short. I'm just taking my shot here because again, Netflix does not look bad here in my opinion, for this rejection of this low. Right, you can see right here, these lows that really held up this market, really held up Netflix in this area. See this? After Netflix broke this level, it really flushed, right? And so if Netflix is trading back into that level, my technical analysis, my strategy would tell me, right, that this could be a break and retest of a previous support. It turns into a supply, right? That is at least how I trade, right? And I'm not going to go against. And again, guys, this is what I was talking about earlier. If you trade a strategy, you trade the strategy. It's not like you change up on what you look for. And so for me, in my eyes, right, and whether I'm right or wrong here, this is a short all day for me, right? For me, with someone that understands how to manage their positions, doesn't blow up their accounts on every trade they take, right? This is a short opportunity in my eyes. This is a previous low, right, that turns into a new high. And, yeah, it might take some time, but I could definitely see, this type of channel. Now, of course, I'm going to need market weakness for this to work. If there's no market weakness, it ain't going to work, right? That's the other thing. That's the problem that I'm having. I'm not getting that market weakness to cause this to move lower. So if the market's going higher, then yeah, I'm going to be wrong, right? And that could be that part of the strategy that goes wrong on me, right? There's different parts of the strategy. There's the individual stock setup, but then what does the NASDAQ and S&P look like? If the NASDAQ just rips again today up 2%, yeah, I'm going to get stopped out of Netflix. It's not going to work, right? So it's not just the individual chart. Now, on Netflix individual, I love the short play. But of course, in the back of my mind, I am a little bit concerned about the strength on the NASDAQ, right? I understand that. Those are things that you need to understand if you are trading in the market. You need to know, okay, I like this potential trade, but what's the NASDAQ doing? The NASDAQ's pretty damn strong. And so if I'm shorting Netflix here, I'm probably a little bit, in the back of my head, maybe how do I compensate for that? Scale down, right? Have a tight stop loss. Stop out when it's incorrect, right? Do the things that you need to do to get out of the position with a minimal loss, with a comfortable loss, if that NASDAQ continues to trade against you. So it's those little things that keep you alive, right? Understanding your position, understanding what could work against it, understanding the current market conditions, right? All those things that take into account So, right, if the NASDAQ was dropping and it was really weak and we were in a downtrend, right, and, bad things were happening on the market, I'd probably be a little bit heavier here on Netflix. I'd probably go in with more size and because I have more confidence. But for now, I like the technicals for downside. But I know that market's strong. I know the NASDAQ is pretty resilient. And so for me, it's a little attempt with some small size, and we shall see what happens, right? SMCI, I wanted to go over coin. I don't really have any thoughts on SMCI, Chef. I mean, it's just straight up, man. All-time highs, right? Previous highs here. You just watch for the retests. Yeah, this was a nice breakout yesterday of that previous high area. You know me, Chef. I really don't have anything to say when a stock does this, right? There's nothing you can do there. You need something. You need something. You need it. You need an entry point. So that's just straight up. There's nothing there. All right, I wanted to end the stream with coin and maybe a little micro strategy. Just sort of talk about the drama last night, right? We saw the SEC Twitter get hacked, and they tweeted that the ETF was approved, and I guess it's not. So I don't know how that makes. I don't know what that creates here on the Bitcoin stocks such as Coin and MSTR. But Coin is approaching a must-hold level here, right? Coin is approaching a must-hold level here. So this is sort of interesting, right? You can see right here. You have in my opinion, a pretty much must-hold level around this 146.50. I sort of adjusted it this morning. It's sort of tough to get the exact level because you have wick lows at 144. You have some previous highs around 141. So this could be a little bit of a tough spot here on Coin. But what I would look for personally is a break and hold under the Monday lows. Or, right, if you want to be really safe, under this 144 low, like right here. You see this low right here? If Coin breaks under that level, I think you're going to get some weakness here. So watch that, right? That 144, you can see that previous low right here. I'd say keep an eye on that level today. If Coin breaks under that 144, that could get a little bit interesting. And if that sort of weakness continues to step in. However, right, this could be, and don't get it twisted, this could be a demand hold, right? This could be a demand hold. This could be a low that holds on. So be aware of that. The shorts, the good short entries are up here, right? So a little bit cautious trying to short the breakdown, right? Because if you short the breakdown, you are susceptible to bounces, right? Those wick bounces. That is why I like shorting at supplies, and I will continue to short at supplies because I know I have risk reward here, right? Risk reward here is in my favor. And if I get stopped out above it, right, I have a quick stop above that level. But if you short at these lows, you definitely are more susceptible, I don't think suscepted is a word. You are more exposed to this type of sort of action, right? Sort of that nasty, sort of choppy, sort of wick back up, wick back down, and then sort of stop you out type of trade. That's why it's a little bit tough to short the breakdowns and trade the breakouts, right? Because you're definitely involved in a little bit more of a choppy area. I would rather be short here, of course. I did short Coin up here the last few days. Just be aware of this 144. Be aware of that 144. All right, I'm going to end it there, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you did, please press the like button. Please help me continue to grow this channel. I think we've been gaining a little more traction on the channel. Maybe some people are liking those daily uploads. I can't promise you daily uploads all year, guys, because it's a lot of work and it's a lot of screen time. So I'm going to try my best. Maybe just do it all through, maybe the first quarter or something. Do like first quarter daily upload, something like that. So, yeah. MicroStrategy. Is there anything I want to share on MSTR? Yeah, MSTR, I missed my entry on MSTR, really. So, first of all, right, here's your next level on MSTR. 550, right there. That's your next demand. But there was a sexy entry on MSTR that I missed. And look at this. Right? Look at how sexy this was. See this? Would you look at this? Boom, 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 right? That's sexy stuff, MSTR. So that was the entry short, right here. That's sexy, sexy stuff. Back on Monday of this week. All right, guys, press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for all the support, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.